Hello, hello, hello. This is Dimitri. Once again, I have to call cricket. I will put this on hold until they pick up. I've been waiting for quite a few minutes. Yes.
Yes, so I already submitted a request to our supervisor, and I'll need to put this call back on hold for 1 to 2 minutes while waiting for the response of the supervisor. Okay?
Well, I suppose.
All right. Thank you. Just stay on the line. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yes,
much.
I'll stay on the line.
All right. Thank you.
Alvin, the supervisor here at Cricket. By the way, may I know who am I speaking with?
My name is Jeff Soboroff.
Alright, great. And just alright, great. And how may I help you today?
Well, it took me a month to get a trouble ticket filed last month about a problem which has not been solved. And when this case was escalated, the technician is supposed to call me back. Well, when the technician called me back, the technician had prima facie evidence presented to them that the problem exists. Because I'm a musician, and my specialty is being able to do everything. So I get calls from people when their musician in their band can't show up, and I fill in for them. But if my calls go directly into my answering machine, they're not going to reach me. So they will try to call somebody else, and I'll lose a job. So far, in the past 45 days, I've lost $1,200 worth of work. And I'm getting a reputation for being unreliable. Now, I am now using the phone that I brought to my account. And the reason I had to buy a phone from you is because I didn't know that your advertisement online, the first page of your website, is bait and switch because it says you can bring your own phone. I brought my own phone. I'm using it now because it's been suggested to me that the second phone you sold me is also defective. So, I'm using my old phone that I brought to my account, and I want to know when I'm going to be able to get a phone call. This is something which is set up from your system. I don't have the facility to tell your agency from my telephone control pad that I want to get my phone calls sent to my answering machine automatically. I don't do that. I can't do that. I won't work. And I didn't. But for almost 2 months, this is how I have to conduct business on the phone, and I can't conduct business that way. Your technician called me. It took me until the 23rd of last month. I thought that a trouble ticket had been filed the previous month to last month. Then I found out that a trouble ticket hadn't been filed until the 23rd of this month. I finally get a trouble ticket filed. Somebody calls me up, and my call goes right into my answering machine, which is the problem. Instead of solving the problem, they canceled my trouble ticket and said the problem was solved.
Oh, I do understand you, dear, and I'm very sorry about that.
Well, you're sorry. Your
And
apology doesn't feed the kitty. That doesn't feed the kitty. I've lost $1,200 worth of work. The only other income I get is Social Security, which is not enough to live on. I'm 66 years old. I don't get enough to live on from Social Security. That's why I'm playing in bars for drunks. I'd rather not do that. But I do it because, you got to eat. So for the last 45 days, you guys have taken $1,200 out of my mouth. You called me up, and the problem was clearly displayed to you. And I know you called me up because I was sitting by my phone when that happened. And when the call went directly into my answering machine, all I heard was a beep, like I was getting a text. Phone didn't ring. And when I looked on the phone and saw who it was, the answering machine, I'm thinking, well, I just lost a job. And I didn't get that notice of having a voicemail for an hour. So I lost that job. Now, I have had to, this is the 7th time today, I have had to go to your facility that's like 2-3 miles away from me on a bicycle because my car was stolen. I only had liability. So I'm SOL on that account. But for 6 times they've refreshed my system. You now refuse to refresh my system from my house. And I find, and this is interesting, when I'm using my phone and I'm trying to do the Play Store, now I have to hook up to Wi-Fi to do the Play Store, and that is not how the Play Store works. I used to be able to put apps on my phone just by hitting the Play Store and my phone connection. My data would get me into the Play Store. And, you don't have to have high speed to do the Play Store. I'm wondering why that's happening. Because I've been able to contact representatives of the Play Store at Google. I shouldn't have to use Wi-Fi to do that. I've got a telephone connection to do that with. But apparently not. Now today I missed a really important call, which was from Social Security. If I don't talk to those people, and when you call up the Social Security number, national hotline, you're waiting for an hour and a half. I should have hung on the phone. Except the connection I get from you guys is so bad that my calls are usually dropped. What's really interesting is when I call you guys and I have all of the signal bars that a person could have on their phone. But when I'm not calling 611, I don't have any signal. That's odd, considering that I live less than 2 miles away from the tower I'm dealing with. So I'm just wondering so what we need to do is we need to file another trouble ticket. Now, right now, I took my old phone, the one that I brought to Cricket, the one that that your bait and switch first page says, bring your own phone. But then 3 weeks later, and I vetted you guys. Really, I called you guys up every other day for more than a week, asking about specific features of your plan. And apparently you train your customer service representatives to say anything that they think will make the customer happy so that you can get my credit card numbers. Because after you get my credit card numbers, that's not a promise anymore. One of the things that was that I'd asked about, and that is covered in your terms and conditions, is that when you run out of your high speed, and I used to have your most expensive plan. I spent $60 for 10 gigabytes on my hotspot. And after you had canceled out my ability to use the phone that I brought, I got a phone from you, but I didn't use it for a couple of days. And I was careful to make note of the data that I had used off my hotspot. And I had found that in the 1 or 2 days that I had not used my hotspot, you had taken many megabytes of data off of my hotspot, just as if I had been using it for those days. Now, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. When I use my phone, the data that I'm using on my phone is not from the same bank of data that I'm using from my hotspot. I have retained an attorney, because that's bait and switch. That's not allowed in this country. I shouldn't have had to buy a new phone. Right now I'm using my old phone, which happens to work. Now, I know that the ZTE you sold me also works, because I spent an extra $100 this month, and now I can have Geek Squad go into my ZTE and check it for problems. My ZTE is not having any problems. My phone calls are not going in to my phone because I chose to do that. My phone is being upset because when I run out of high speed, you guys only want to give me half of a kilobyte of data exchange speed. And I've had that checked by Geek Squad, by an independent website, and by an app that I have on my ZTE phone, which tells me what my speed is. According to your terms and conditions, as interpreted by a federal attorney who has been practicing law since before the Civil War, your terms and conditions state that when I run out of high speed, I'm supposed to get a minimum of 128 kilobytes per second. I am less than 2 miles away from your tower that I'm using, and I don't have any signal until I call 611, and then all of my signal bars are lit up. It is the same on this phone that I'm using, the phone that I brought, and on the ZTE that I bought from you. Now, I want this problem fixed. You know, when you guys call somebody up from technical and the problem happens on the phone, they don't have to talk to me. They just have to fix it. Instead, what they did is they canceled my trouble ticket and said the problem was solved. And I didn't even get to talk to them. That's why I'm talking to you.
I understand it there.
Now, the experts that my attorney has retained, I gave my attorney a $700 retainer. And the only reason he hasn't filed is because he wants to make a class action suit out of it, and so do I, because I think this ought to be on the news. So far, I have 1,686 people. I haven't checked with my attorney yet. Maybe more people have signed up during the night. Yesterday, I talked to my attorney. We got 1,686 people that want to go into court because the same thing is happening to them. And if it isn't not receiving their calls, it's because you're stealing data from them. If it isn't because you're stealing data from them, they're objecting to your bait and switch tactics of making them buy a phone, which in many cases was worse. It was not nearly as good as the phone they had. And there are other issues too. There are many issues. And you know, I've suffered from all of them. But I can't do this thing where I'm not going to get my phone calls. The other day I was on the phone with you guys for 4 hours. My attorney tells me that when I work, that's how much my hour is worth. When I work in recording studios playing guitar for people, I get $500 an hour. Now I have been able to put on a hard drive, which my attorney has, all of my calls with you because I record them. I have to. And the thing is, I have more than 100 hours worth of calls at $500 an hour. And you are going to have to reimburse me for that time. Now, I didn't want to take anybody into court. It's a pain in the butt. I would just much rather have service. As a matter of fact, I would much rather be paying you $70 a month than to be glomming on to my landlord's Wi-Fi for my laptop. But that's how I have to do that, because you guys were cheating me on my data, and I can prove it. Now before I left the store, who has told me, well, that's okay, you can use your old phone. They didn't even have to contact you on the computer or anything. And they gave me a little thing so that I could put the miniature SIM card in that thing and then make it fit in my Samsung, which, by the way, is a brand of phone that you sell. The first excuse that I was given when I couldn't use my hotspot with the phone I brought was, well, the Samsungs are not compatible with our system. Not only are they compatible with your system, I mean, I was able to use it for 3 weeks, but at the time you were selling the Galaxy. What is this? This is some kind of Galaxy phone, and that's the phone I was using. No, it's a Galaxy Core Prime, and you were selling it at a discount. And you were selling this at a discount. It's on your website. And I'm being told by a customer service representative and then by a supervisor, well, Samsung isn't compatible with our system. You told me that. I recorded that conversation. Now, when is this problem going to be taken care of and you need to file another trouble ticket? Because today I missed a phone call from Social Security. So, I might not get my check next month. And if I don't get my check next month, that's your fault.
I'm very sorry about that.
Well, if you're really sorry, why don't you take up a collection and send me the $1,200 that I lost over the past 45 days, and then I won't have to worry about my Social Security check for a few weeks.
I'm very sorry about that, but we cannot do that.
Sure you can't, because you intended to cheat me in the first place. Look, you need to file a trouble ticket, and when technical calls me back, and they're transferred right into my answering machine, they're not supposed to stop working on the problem, are they?
Because actually, I've also checked, regarding the technical case that was created for your phone line, that they actually tried to contact you.
That's right. They did. That's what I just told you. And when they tried to contact me, my phone, they went right into my answering machine. My phone didn't even ring once.
I do understand it.
No, well then why are you trying... Wait a minute. You're telling me you understand. And I've just explained the problem to you. I said, yeah, they called me, and the call went right into my answering machine immediately. So, my question is, why was that trouble ticket canceled, and why did you stop working on the problem?
So, for that answer, if you would just let me talk first, and that way I would be able to provide the information that was provided by our technical team, So, regarding the issue that you have, when they checked your services and also the area where it happened for the calls routed directly to your voicemail, they were able to check that service was okay. It was going it was on an active status as well. okay, regarding your services at that time. Okay, it's just that when they tried to call you, okay, you were unable to answer the call. That's why they were
That's because the phone didn't ring. That's because it went right into my answering machine. And you know, the thing is, there's a difference between when you're notified about a call and when you get your voicemail. Now, I knew I got a call as soon as it happened because it lit up on my screen that I got a call that had been rejected, and I didn't even hear a ring. Then, an hour later, I get notice I got a voicemail. And you know, I tried to call voicemail right after I was notified, and you know, voicemail didn't even know I had a voicemail for an hour. So things are not working right. But my question to you is, when I wasn't available, and you know, I carry myself, I'm with my cell phone. I'm with it because of my nature of my work. And now I have a reputation for being unreliable and not returning calls.
I am very sorry.
Well, look,
So that's why
you're going to have to file another trouble ticket because this problem, you know. And wait a minute, and now to be perfectly honest and transparent, before I left the Cricket store today, after they provided me with a little piece that I could put around my miniature SIM card so that it'll fit in my Samsung, they rang my phone. I had the full amount of rings, and I expect that to continue. But every time this has happened, and I've had to go to that store because you will no longer refresh my phone or do anything for me when I call you. I have to make a 6-mile round trip on a bicycle in heavy traffic to deal with this at all. And what ends up happening is they'll call me up and my phone will ring for a minute, and then I leave the store and I might get 1 or 2 phone calls that I can answer. But by next morning, everything is going back to my answering machine and my phone doesn't even ring when I get a call. There needs to be an adjustment made here. I mean, if I only have a text account, then I shouldn't have to pay $30.
I'm very sorry about that. Just that wouldn't be possible. And also,
What won't be possible? What won't be possible? You mean you're providing service and having the problem solved? Because that's what I'm pretty much hearing.
The one that you're asking. So that's why I would provide, okay, regarding the feedback from the technical team, okay, that work onto your problem. So for a customer, if they would call in with the same issue, okay, customer would be able to do or offer again a troubleshooting step for them, and if it would still, okay, if the issue would still persist, that would be the time that we would need to have the phone be checked.
Well, look, I have 2 lines. Look, I got call waiting. I have call waiting on my account. But I don't have 2 phones, and I don't have 2 working SIM cards. Actually, I do have 2 phones, but I don't have 2 working SIM cards. I mean, my one phone, the one phone that I've had, the one account that I've had has never really worked. Why would I have 2? But you know, I've troubleshot with you on the phone before on one line. But now you tell me, well, you have to have another phone. Am I supposed to walk up and down the street knocking on my neighbor's doors saying, can I use your cell phone? Because Cricket is bogus. And you guys are bogus. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to file a trouble ticket. Or you're going to have to give me a number where I can get a hold of your technical crew, which, by the way, a supervisor has already admitted to me that your technical crew is customer service representatives. not people who are trained in any kind of a technical way except being given a orientation. All right? Your technical crew is forced to look at the manuals and have to interpret those manuals before they can do anything. And you know, a real technician knows what they're doing before the phone rings.
I'm very sorry about that.
So
But
please
that,
file a trouble
you're
ticket.
not
Just
doing-
file a trouble ticket.
Yes, that would be no problem. It's just that also with the number that you're asking, that we could not provide. Regarding the technical case that you'd want to be created again, we can do that. Okay, we can process
Now,
that
when
right
you
now.
create that,
Then-
when you create that, you're going to have to notate that if this call goes into my answering machine, that the problem isn't solved.
So that's why they also provided a note that if the problem will still exist, okay, after it was being checked, that's why the phone and also the SIM card would be needed to be checked in store. Okay,
Well,
for
wait a minute.
damage.
Just a minute. Now that's really interesting. Because the store, you know, your store's really nice. They've been putting up with me 7 times now. Today was the 7th time. And the thing is, your store is telling me that they don't check my phone. They don't do that. They do not troubleshoot phones. None of your stores troubleshoot phones. Before there was a Cricket store, before there were Cricket stores in this area, your only outlets was Aaron's Furniture Store and Walmart. They don't check phones either. They are not technicians. And they can't do it from their store. They don't troubleshoot. I've got a recording of them telling me that.
Is actually that would be checked, okay, by an authorized Cricket representative in store to check also if
Excuse
there
me.
is a
Excuse me.
technical-
There is a Cricket facility at 422 East Locust Street. And you're telling me that those people are authorized, right?
If it's an actual Cricket store.
Well, it
not
says
an
Cricket on the
actual
front.
store.
That's the only, look, it's a Cricket store. It's totally devoted to selling Cricket products. It's totally devoted to doing that. Yet, the staff there does not do troubleshooting. The staff there has no equipment to check your phone. But as I told you, I spent $100 extra this month. And I have an account with Geek Squad who can remote into my phone and check it. The ZTE phone that I have works. There's nothing wrong with it. But now I'm using a Samsung phone that there's also nothing wrong with. And while I was riding home, my phone didn't ring, but I've got a voicemail. I've got a voicemail on it, but my phone didn't ring.
We can create for that and also wait for the response of our back office team. And with the response, it would really be needed to be followed if it really be the fault or either the SIM card that needs to
It's
be
not the
replaced.
SIM card because the day before, yesterday,
Because
excuse me,
deposit-
excuse me, I got a new SIM card and I had to ride in the rain to get it because I was expecting this call that I received today from Social Security. So I'm using a new SIM card. I'm using a phone that and both phones, I mean the phone that I just got from you, I know that works. And the phone that I'm using, I know works. So it's not the SIM card and it's not the phone. What my attorney's experts are telling me is that for some reason, your remote computer has programmed all my phone calls to go directly to my answering machine. Now, if there was actually a technical person working on my phone and not a customer service representative, as I have been told by a previous supervisor, they would be able to change that. You have it programmed into your system that it's called extended absence. And I found that out when I deleted my voicemail and then rewrote it. And the first thing it told me that I have extended absence. And if I don't want to have extended absence, I press 3. So I pressed 3. And that message isn't coming through on either of the phones I'm using. I don't want extended absence. I don't want extended absence. I'm not extendedly absent. I have to answer my phone when it rings. I mean, right, you know about extended absence, don't you? You're a supervisor, correct?
Yes.
Well then, I want to know who programmed this into my system.
No. No one programmed.
Well, somebody did.
that.
No, there are three. We got my attorney, who is a federal attorney, because you got to take you guys into federal court about these issues. That's what happens when you file a suit against a phone company. It's a federal issue because it's the FCC. So my federal attorney has 3 expert witnesses. One of them works for Cellular One, which happens to be a AT&T company subsidiary, just like you are. And he's telling me that this is coming from your end of the blower. I didn't cause this. I never did. Now I have requested, when I rewrote when I canceled out my voicemail and redid it, that I pressed 3. I don't want to be on extended absence. You're going to have to fix that from your end, because that's what's causing this to happen.
I don't understand you there. So that's why we would resubmit a ticket for that. You would need to wait for our back office team to respond after 3 to 5 business days, and that way you would be able to get a feedback and also a callback.
But I won't get a call back. I won't get a call back unless these, because they'll cancel the trouble ticket as soon as they'll try to ring my phone and it won't ring, and it will go directly into my answering machine, so they know that the problem exists. They know it's going on, and their first impulse was to cancel my trouble ticket and put on my notes that the problem is solved. As far as I know, Cricket's version of the problem being solved is making up some alternative facts and getting the customer off the line.
I'm very sorry about that. So
Well,
that's why
your apology, as I said, does not feed the kitty. Now, this has happened once. This has happened once that I know of. I don't expect it to happen again. I don't expect this to happen again. When you guys call me, and if I don't answer the phone, that means my phone didn't ring. It doesn't mean I'm playing with you. I'm losing money. I'm hemorrhaging money. I can't eat. I can't pay my utilities. I'm having trouble paying my rent. You guys, apparently, unless you guys, you do this again, and I'm going to be able to post a video that says these people want me to live in the street for one reason or another. Look on Facebook. You guys are on Facebook talking to me. You guys are on every social website talking to me. These problems have gone on for a year. From one thing to another, and multiple problems, all these things at the same time. You have cheated me out of my data because you decided to take data off my hotspot when I was only using my phone. My hotspot wasn't turned on. So, that's what we're going to have to do. Now, I have found out that I got to sit here and babysit you until I get the number from the trouble ticket. So why don't we try to do that as quickly as possible so I can enter yet another trouble ticket number into my documents on my laptop.
Yes, that will be no problem. Actually, I'm creating it right now as we speak. So I'll just need to also ask some information from you right now, and that way we can complete this process, okay?
All right.
And Jeff, just to ask, since your phone is a non-cricket phone, may I know its make and model?
It's a Samsung Galaxy Core Prime. You sold them. You were selling them at Walmart and Aaron's Furniture Store. They are compatible with your system because if they weren't, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Yep. So right now, just to make sure as well, are you at 1239?
When I mean really, they saw it. I called. They called me. They couldn't get me because it just went right into my answering machine. And my answering machine didn't even tell me that they called for an hour or longer. I mean, I didn't get any notification of a voicemail. And when I found out that it was a voicemail from your number, and by the way, the voicemail that you left me, it didn't have any audio on it. But I know you called me because it was you. I got the number. You know, that just tells me something in plain, simple English without saying a word. That you canceled my trouble ticket and you stopped looking at this and you still couldn't get me on the phone. My phone went right into my answering machine. I can't have that happen. And my expert witness, all three of them as a matter of fact, because the other two have experience working with cell phone companies, are telling me that if you're on an extended absence, that's something that was set up, and I didn't set it up. And I can call you guys, and I can punch in my telephone numbers, and you know what my telephone number is. Yet, when I am instructed to punch 3, so that I am not on extended absence, you don't hear the number. You don't see it. It doesn't get logged. That's because you have programmed into your remote computer that I'm on extended absence and I'm supposed to stay there. And that's what 3 experts are telling me. This comes from your remote computer. My speed of data transfer, which when I'm not talking to you is half of a kilobyte per second, is also something that's controlled by your computer. And the thing is, according to your terms and conditions, as interpreted by an attorney who has a license to practice in federal court, who went to college for 4 years and to law school for 4 years, and then did more than a decade in a prosecutor's office as an assistant district attorney before he went into private practice as an attorney who can also practice in federal court. The way he reads your terms and conditions is that when I run out of my gigabyte of high speed, I am to get no less than 128 kilobytes per second, which I know will get me into any website. I just can't stream. It will also send pictures. A few months ago, I couldn't send a picture. And I was told, well, that's because you've used up all your high speed. No, I can transfer that at 128 kilobytes per second, but I can't get a picture if I'm only running at half a kilobyte per second. It won't happen. So you're going to have to change that, and you're going to have to change that on your end of the blower. And if you don't, you're going to be sued. Actually, you're going to be sued anyway. It's a class action suit. I've lost a year's worth of business. I have to call you guys up I've had to call you guys up every day now. And I've had to, and you know, I've spent more than an hour on this today. I can document my time. You're going to pay me $500 an hour. So yeah, I am going to continue suing you. But you're going to solve this problem.
For this one, I would submit a request already. Okay, I'll just need to have some information as well so that we can complete it. Okay, so I would need you to check as well what type of operating system currently runs onto your Samsung phone.
On Android. That's all I know about it. But you know, you could find that out because you sell Samsungs. I was just in your store.
It would be depending, okay, with the current update that you have onto the phone. So you can check the version, okay, that you currently run right now.
Excuse me.
Using the settings.
Excuse me. This phone is constructed so that I'm going to have to hang up on you to get to the numbers inside of it. However, wait a minute. But the thing is, sir, you're a supervisor, and your technical staff knows what kind of operating system it has. It's Android. Okay. Well, then you're going to have to look. You're going to have to look that up. I can't give you that right now. All I know is they want to make it. They want to make it so that you can't answer the question. This is what they want to do. Because I'm not going to get a hold of this guy next time. When I call them back with the numbers of my phone, which they already have, you know, everything in this phone is already in your file, dude. Do your work. Look, you're a supervisor. You're a supervisor. Do your job. You look in my file. Excuse me. Don't talk. Don't talk. Listen. The customer's supposed to be always right. That's an old saying, and hey, see, he's not going to do it. He doesn't want the information. You have this information in your file. You have this. Because I used this phone. I used this phone for 3 weeks. I used this phone for 3 weeks with you. You already know what it is, and you already know what model it is, and you already know what operating system it has. And this is the first time I've ever been asked what the operating system of my phone is. As far as it... Oh, fuck!
If you would just let us also ask some information, and that way we can...
I can't give you that information without disconnecting from you. And when I disconnect from you...
As what I've told you, it would not disconnect the call.
You mean taking my battery out won't disconnect my call?
It would not need to have a battery.
Yeah. That's where that information... That's where the information is found. I'm assuming you want my IMEI number, right?
No, because we have it already.
That's right. And you are... Okay, you got my They got my IMEI number, which tells them everything about my phone.
Yes, that's why right now...
Good. So you already have that information. Fix the... complete the trouble ticket. Complete the trouble ticket.
Yes, that's why we would ask that information, and that way we can complete...
I can't do that without taking the battery out of the phone.
So if you would just let me provide you and guide you how you can check that, you would be able to do so.
Oh, you want me... Okay, you want me to go into my settings?
Oh, yes, that's why if you would just let us guide you.
Oh, let me... Yeah, sure. Just a moment.
Because, correct. Because we've listened as well regarding your concern, and also you'll need to also listen regarding how we would instruct you, how you'd be able to get information on your phone. Okay?
Just a moment.
Alright.
Just a moment. Well, you know, this is... Just a moment. Okay, you wanted me to go into mobile networks or what?
No, that would be under About Phone, because it's an information
About
your
phone.
software.
About device. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you want me to go into model. I got model number. It's an SMG360T.
Not the model number. You can check it under status. There would be an option for the version for your operating system.
Yeah, would that, well, where would, let's see, I've got device name, I've got model number, Android version 5.11.
Yes, correct. That would be the one that I would need. 5.1. Android 5.1. Thank you so much.
Android
So right
5.1,
now,
excuse me, that is Android 5.1.1.
So thank you so much for the information.
And that's all you need?
You didn't need, and you didn't need to turn off the phone, right? So right now, I would just submit it first, and then afterwards, I will provide, okay?
Now, I've also been told, before we continue, I have also been told that, you see, the thing is about this phone, what's really weird is like, up until about a week ago, whenever I tried to contact the Play Store, I was just able to get to the Play Store from my phone and my phone account. But now, you have adjusted something with your system or something, I don't know. And now, in order to get apps, I have to be on Wi-Fi.
Because as per check right here, your 1 gigabyte of high-speed internet.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've always been able to get apps at 128 kilobytes per second. That does. That's right. Now the thing is, I tested that. I tested my speed in my own way, even though I got a speed checker. So I go into the Play Store, and I find something that has hardly any data transfer to be done. Like something that, say, is 500 kilobytes. Now, if I'm getting 128 kilobytes per second of data exchange, what would happen is within 5 seconds, I would have a download. But because I'm only getting half of a kilobyte per second, which is something that is controlled by your remote computer, it takes me like an hour to get a download. And the download won't be completed. So the thing is, you're not giving me enough speed to deal with the Play Store, and the Play Store will deal with me at 128 kilobytes per second. They don't have a problem with that. But when I'm calling up, and it's like I'm calling up on a telephone with an Ethernet cable, and I'm running at 65 kilobytes per second, they can't do that. And that's what's happening. And I've got and you know, that has been verified by Google themselves. It's the Google Play Store. They can't deal with me if I'm operating at half a kilobyte per second. And your own terms and conditions specify that I'm not supposed to get less than 128 kilobytes per second. That's why you're getting sued.
Oh, I'm very sorry about that. It's just that with that.
Well, then fix it.
It would really
If you're sorry, your technical crew, your technical crew is going to go into your remote computer or your system,
right
as it
now,
were.
I will submit it already.
And what they are going to do, is they are going to take me off of extended absence, and they are going to, they're going to rig up your system so that it complies with your terms of service, which specify that when I run out of a gigabyte of high speed, and you know I've never gotten any high speed from you, that's supposed to be 3 megabytes per second. That's what a supervisor told me. That's what somebody who claimed to be from technical told me. And so that's what it's supposed to run at.
Right now, we would complete now. I would submit it, and then I'll provide you the number for the case that we would submit. Okay? So if you're ready, I would provide it for you right now.
I'll be ready as soon as my documents come up. And they're coming up now. I'm supposed to I'm punching text document, and I have a text document. Okay. Give me that number.
Okay, so I will provide you now the number. So Alpha Bar. So that would be 1707
1707
2875
2875
4446.
4446. That's it? Okay, trouble ticket filed on this date. Just a minute. OUBLETTICKETFILED. And today's date is the 28th. Okay, so that would be 7. That will be 7. 28 of 17. Now, when this happens again, when my phone doesn't reach me, when it doesn't ring, and it goes into my answering machine, a voicemail that I won't get for at least an hour and sometimes for a day. I don't want you guys destroying that trouble ticket. And then, when I call you back on a number you refuse to provide me a number where I can directly talk to technical. I mean, you send me texts all the time. Yeah, Cricket has a survey. You don't want my answers. You're not going to like them. You contact me by text all the time, yet you refuse to allow me to have direct contact with technical.
Because that would be not available for the...
No, it's not available because what you want to do, it's not available because what you want to do is you want to destroy the trouble ticket and you don't want to do any work. And when the last time you called me, when it was presented to you from your own experience that I can't answer my phone because my calls are going directly into my answering machine, you still destroyed the trouble ticket and said the problem was solved. You said the problem was solved. That's what I heard from a supervisor yesterday. That is, what is in my file is that the problem is all taken care of. No, it isn't. I'm still on extended absence. Now you know what the problem is. I just told you. Excuse me. See, they don't want to listen. I just told you what the problem is. That 3 experts have told me that you have switched me to extended absence, and you know, I got a text about how you changed my account. And you changed my account when I got that text to put me on extended absence when I didn't ask for it. You did that all by yourselves.
I'm very sorry about that.
I'm not. Look, if you're really sorry, you're going to send me $1,200. If you don't send me $1,200, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me anymore. When that call goes directly into my answering machine, that only means that you're to redouble your efforts in contacting me. And the only way that you can contact me is to take me off extended absence. It's the only way. I can't do it myself. Because as I said, when I call you guys up and I punch into my keypad my telephone number and my PIN number, you get that. But when I'm redoing when I blanked out my voicemail and then redid it, and I was told that I was on extended absence, and I was told to punch 3, which I did in a timely manner. Apparently, you didn't want to take. You don't want to recognize that the customer has just punched 3. Now I can't. Now if I can't punch 3 from this phone, which works, that means that you just don't want to take me off extended absence.
I'm very sorry about that.
No, I'm not, because I'm going to sue you over it. I am going to get $500 an hour for, and you know what? My video that I'm making here is telling me that I've been on the phone with you for more than an hour. Thanks for the $500, because I'm going to be able. I'm going to be able to recover that in federal court. I get paid for my time. I'm going to be able to show.
Now, we've submitted already that case, so our back office team would be checking that one out again. Okay, and then you'll be given a response after 3 to 5 business days.
Well,
So,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I know I'm not going to get a response tomorrow, but by Friday, if my phone doesn't ring when you call me, that means you're not supposed to destroy the trouble ticket. You're not supposed to destroy the trouble ticket. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to.
You will be able to check it with us, because the back office team as well would provide information, okay, regarding.
Yeah, the information that I have been provided is this. You called me. My call went into my answering machine. You said the problem was solved. Then you destroyed the trouble ticket. Don't do it again. Now, before I left Cricket, I got a minute's worth of rings. On the way home, my phone didn't ring, and I've got a voicemail.
I'm very sorry about that. So that's why we would look into that again and make sure that it would actually.
Just do it, okay?
So
Because you owe me $500 an hour for calls like this, and you owe me $500 an hour for calls like this. That's over $50,000 for all the calls I made. Those calls have been are on a hard drive in my attorney's office, and a jury and a judge in a federal court are going to hear them and see them.
I do understand you there. So do you have any other questions? Or
I want to know why you destroyed that trouble ticket when you knew. And you haven't answered that question yet. I want to know why you destroyed that trouble ticket as soon as you had evidence that I didn't get your call, that it went right into my answering machine. And when people call me, and this is evident. This was evident to the person who called me from your facility, because my phone doesn't ring on your end either. It doesn't ring on your end. When my friends call me, if somebody calls me, that call goes right into my answering machine. Because I'm on extended absence, my phone doesn't ring. And it doesn't ring at your end either. You knew what was happening. And you also know that I'm on extended absence that I didn't ask for. You freaking change it before Friday.
I'm very sorry.
I'm very sorry. No, you're not very sorry. You're full of crap.
What do you have any other questions or anything else before?
I had to turn my phone off. I didn't want to hear him anymore. Okay, now I'm filing this number, this trouble ticket, in my computer. You would think a journalist would have learned how to type, right? Learn how to type. That's right. I write my stuff on a typewriter. That's what I do. I write all of my stuff on a typewriter. Ay vey. This is Dmitry Ivanovich. Oh, well, not quite an hour. Still $500 worth. We're at 59 minutes and 27 seconds. I'll be filing this tonight. This is Dmitry Ivanovich with the Naked Truth.